morning, Azeroth. Broadcasting live from the trade district of Stormwind.
Hey, who rerolled an arcane relay through the coffee pot again?
Coffee's done.
Hang on. I think we got it.
This is Azeroth Morning Radio. Warcraft for the rest of us.
And good Tuesday morning, everybody. Welcome. This is Azeroth Morning Radio.
Come and be blessed by my abundance.
So over the top. I love it. We are your hosts. My name's Jibs, and my better half is back, baby. He is back from the Zalaman flu, the Felian flu. I don't know, whatever. His name is Cash.
Yeah, he's alive, actually. You can probably still hear it in my voice. That is definitely going to be a thing. Like I was telling Jibs, my finger is going to be hovering over the mute button for this one because I still have coughing attacks. And the funny thing is I was feeling fine, great, no problem. And like, it was probably about a week and a half ago.
Mm-hmm.
I was watching TV with my wife and I started to get like that scratch in my throat.
Yeah.
And I was like, I think I'm getting a sore throat. And at some point in between that moment and the next morning, a freaking demon crawled inside of my body, dude, and just ravaged me for a week and a half. It was gnarly. I was on all kinds of stuff and nothing was touching it. And then finally it was like a miracle. One night I went to bed, woke up the next morning, sore throat was gone. I was like, okay, I'm on the mend. But man, did it knock me on my butt.
Yeah, it did.
So that was a solo show last week, buddy. You did a great job on it. And we kept pushing the show back and pushing it back and pushing it back. And finally that morning, I think I texted you and said, dude, it's not going to happen.
Yeah. Well, we're definitely glad you're back. I'll tell you what, I feel like I did more work on a solo show than I did on a two-person show. So I just want to say real quick, Sweeper Dave, solo queue, I have so much respect for you. Like more, I already had respect for you, but now just know that it's grown 50-fold.
Hey, for the record, I don't have any respect for either of you. All right, it's been said.
Yeah, dude, when you're podcasting, solo cholo is tough. It is very difficult to do. And I think it's one of those skills that is acquired over time. I have not had to do it yet, but I think you did a really good job. And you're right. You lifted the elephant last week, and hopefully this week I was able to do that a bit more for you.
Oh yeah.
And
yeah.
handle most of the show stuff this week.
Yeah, man. Absolutely. It was good to have you back. That's for sure. You were missed. Folks, thank you so much for hanging out with us here today, tuning in. Before we move forward, what'd you do in Warcraft this week? Because I know you're on the mend. I know what you did. I was with you every day. But the people here, they don't know. They need to know. Yeah,
so I took a work cycle off. So it gave me some decent days off to recover. And we have a rule in this house to where if somebody gets sick, then you sequester yourself.
Yeah.
And luckily for me, I have the studio, so I can come in here and just close the doors and be relatively untouched, and I don't have to bother the family or anything. And my daughter's got a big trip coming up, so she was like nowhere to be found. She did not want to be anywhere near me. I was like, yep, I get it. So I just loaded up on like a bunch of meds to take care of the symptoms, and I played Warcraft for 8 hours every day, at least 8 hours every single day. I got a ton of game time in over the past week. So I had a great time. I finished the campaign. I started dipping into the tons and tons of quests there are to do. I picked up, I do not know how many glowing moths, just tons and tons. And man, I'm not kidding you. Like, I had an amazing time, but there was one find. There was one find that I made this week, and I want to thank our friend Mission for it, because he set me in the direction of looking at this thing, and it is on the shop, and from time to time I'll pick things up on the Blizzard shop. And if you haven't seen them, I ended up picking up the Scurry Grove Glider collection. And they're very smart about the way they did this. They said you can buy one for 25. There's 4 of them. Buy one for 25. Or you can have all 4 for 50. And I was like, durr. I'm buying all 4 of them. They are hands down the most fun mount I have ever had in this game. They upped their game on it. Just watch the video if you haven't seen the Grove Glider collection. They are so worth it as a mount.
That's so cool. Yeah, I was watching you. We were in Voidstorm, and I hadn't. You had mentioned the same thing to me, like go watch the video, and I just hadn't watched it yet. And you're like, here, you see me? I'm jumping up and down, and I'm looking in this flood of people, and I see no jumping night elf, which is a miracle in itself. How tall you are. And anyway, then I see this squirrel just take off and just its arms just go out. And I'm just like, that's what that is. It's one of my favorite animals. Oh my gosh, they're so freaking cute. Oh, I tell you, that floofy tail you have, that's $25 worth right there, just in the tail. It's so cool.
They're little, if you haven't seen them, they're little sugar gliders. And first of all, when they pick you up, they do like a little squeak, like a squirrel squeak. And then it comes in behind you and scoops you up onto the mount. And then once you're flying, they don't have wings. They just have these little, I don't know, what would you call them? Vestigial parachutes that come out of the side of their little torso.
Yeah.
And he just glides with his hands like completely outstretched, and you see his little feet. And I'm not kidding you, I've never had more fun flying on a mount in Warcraft. It was so well done.
That's so cool. Yeah, I tell you, it's been a fun week. It was a very, very busy week. There was a lot of behind the scenes AMR stuff going on. And so it was a busy week doing that. One of those things we're going to be talking about here very soon. I posted a picture of the sugar glider in our little private little recording chat here, and so cute. But
I almost shot coffee out all over my screen.
Yeah, man, I've just been having a really good time just taking in all that is Warcraft. And I was talking to our buddy our Death, and he got to talking about a mage, and I'm like, and you've been tinkering around with a little bit of a mage too, because you've been reading The Last Guardian, right?
Yep. Khadgar as a youngin' got me interested in rolling a mage, so I rolled a mage.
Yeah. And I tell you, between that, you and then our Death talking about possibly maining his, I got to thinking, I'm like, that sounds like a ton of fun. And I've forgotten that was one of my main classes when I first started playing in Warlords. And boy, oh boy, like last week I talked about like playing a class that resonates with you. This one, I am finding, and I'll move on quickly, but finding that it hits me in a very deep and personal way, more so than the Paladin, because this was, and I remembered this while I was playing, like this was my main. We were in 2016 or 14 with Warlords of Draenor. We were with Mog Nation Gaming Community. We were playing Horde, and my priest wasn't, or my mage was, I believe, an undead mage.
My priest was a mage.
My undead, I believe, was an undead mage. And I got to remembering, I'm like, I remember going to Firelands all the time, and I'm looking at my transmog, and I have the mog that I got back then. So I'm like, oh wow, this is really hitting. And I haven't tried all the classes since they've did the pruning and really did all the updates, for Midnight. But I definitely want to now, because I was stunned at how well Frostmage came out of that. Like, just phenomenal. And let me tell you, they're hitting like a truck. I went to an arena today with my hunter, and I faced against a Frostmage. Whoa. Just, whoa. Okay. I'm like, okay. I'll see myself out. I'll leave the arena. It's your arena now. Here's my bow. I'll sit it down. I'm out.
And I know what you did. You logged out and you immediately logged into your mage and kept leveling.
That may have happened for one level, and then I logged off, but yeah. Yeah.
You got summoned. But I know you, bud. I have seen you level characters, and I will be very surprised to not see that character at least 80 within the next day.
I'll be honest. No, that's not actually going to be a thing for me. And I thought about that today because I'm like, I've leveled so many tunes. Like I got my shaman up to 80 and did all that, but I'm just like, no, man, I'm just like taking my time. I wasn't even like flying. I was just on my mount, like old school. Like you didn't have flying, you know, just taking my sweet time, having fun with it and just kind of reconnecting with the mage. And, so yeah, man, overall, it's been a great week. And, season 1 is now out. We're recording early in the week, folks. So we're literally recording on season 1 release day. So Tuesday, reset day. And, but yeah, man, it's exciting times. And I tell you what, we got a full show. You ready to jump in?
I am.
So this week on the show, folks, by the way, before we move forward, if you are a 9-to-5er, you work 9 to 5, maybe you're a parent, grandparent, whatever it is, folks, welcome to the show. This show is for you. You're a casual. Well, this is definitely your home here too. And I tell you, thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in, hanging out with us here today, pushing play. We can't say enough how much we appreciate your support. It really does mean the world to us, week in and week out. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that here soon. But this week on the show, we make a special announcement. We give you the perfect cheat code for World of Warcraft secrets, chat about new events surrounding the launch of Season 1, and we get snarky about flying mounts. But before we jump in the show, last week I made a mention on the podcast that we were celebrating 6 months with episode 25. It didn't feel right to celebrate without cash, so we're doing it today. 6 months today, last week, of Azeroth Morning Radio. Does it feel like 6 months of Azeroth Morning Radio to you?
It really doesn't. And we've talked about it before. To me, it does not feel like it's been 6 months. And the reason being is because this labor of love is exactly that. When you're in a space that you know you feel comfortable with, you know that that space feels like home for you. As a content creator, it makes creating content very, very easy and natural. And, you know, you're excited about it. It's like taking a class. Sorry, I wasn't able to hit
it's
the
okay.
mute
I'm like, your mute's not working.
It's the demon.
I have exorcised the demons. Okay, wrong IP.
It's like taking a class that you absolutely hate as opposed to a class that's within your major and is going to be in your, it's going to be part of your lifelong employment, right?
Well said. Yeah.
You know, it's not like taking math.
Yeah.
It's like taking something that you're really actually interested in. So you're engaged. You're completely engaged. It doesn't feel like work. You're learning things. And I think that's where we're at with content creation for World of Warcraft. So no, 6 months. Does it feel like it? No, it doesn't at all. I still feel like we're just getting started. I still feel like there's a lot of people out there that haven't experienced our show yet. And, you know, the whimsy fun that we want to bring to it and the goblins. And I'm just looking forward to having the ability to reach more people. Because what we are uncovering is that there are so many people out there just like us, middle-aged, maybe a little more, that are World of Warcraft lovers. And we play the game with a lot of passion. There's tons of us out there. So that's who we want to reach.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I know to echo that. Like it's crazy to think that it's even been 6 months, because in my head, this time last year, we were in Ashes of Creation. You know, like we were wrapping up that run around, actually right about now, I think. It was sometime in March, I think. And fast forward, here we are 6 months into a brand new show. But really it's brand new. Yeah. But the IP to us is, like you said, it's, you know, it's like home, you know? And so like creatively, is it challenging? Yeah, but it's an exciting like challenge, you know, to create, because you're always pushing the envelope. Ooh, I want to do a bit on this, or I want to make this or do that. And it's not a stretch to create content for World of Warcraft, because just like you said, you know, like it's just a joy, you know, it's an IP that you love and care about, something you're passionate about. And when it's sustained passion, something you've been passionate about for years, and then you finally get to be on the mic and talk about it, you're just like, let's push record. Let's do it. We'll talk about anything. What do you want to talk about? Like maybe we'll do that sometime for a fun segment. We have our chat pick the segment live. Pick what we talk about live on the show and see if we can do a segment about it for World of Warcraft. That'd be a fun challenge.
We 100% could. We've talked about it before, and I think our friendship goes so deep, and the fact that we've been live on air in some respect together for so long.
Yeah.
I truly believe that we could talk about any topic for an hour.
Oh yeah.
Anything. We could crush an hour just talking about stuff and finding ways to rib each other about something.
Make fun of each other. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, folks, here's to 6 more months. There's all kinds of fun, exciting things coming up this year. We have yet, someone asked the other day if we're ever going to do merch. Yes, we are. When? What is it? TM? To be announced. TBM? I think it's how it is.
Oh boy. You're struggling.
I'm really, thanks for just watching. You're like just eating the popcorn on the side. Yeah. But anyway, so merch, that eventually will be a thing. Whenever we do that thing, I'll just preface it by saying this. It's important to us, number one, that we care far more about giving you a good product than we do about making money from it. Like, we could care less about making money from that sort of thing. We just want to pick out good products, good things that you guys could find use of and have fun with. And Alex in chat says, better be merch for BlizzCon. Well, yeah, there will be merch for BlizzCon. That I can assure you. Probably the shirts that we wear too or something. I don't know. But
yeah, if you see a couple of bald idiots walking around, tall bald idiots walking around with Azeroth Morning Radio shirts on, there's a pretty good chance it's us.
Yeah, pretty good chance. But hey, speaking of 6 months, before we jump into the rest of the show, we have a very special announcement here on the show. And we're like, should we even announce this on the show? But it's like, yeah, absolutely we should. So, Cash, you want to go ahead, bud?
Yeah, we have been talking about it for the better part of 6 months. Behind the curtain, Jibbs and I both. We weren't sure that we wanted to do it right off the bat, but I think it quickly changed. We had some folks talking to us and asking questions if there's ever going to be a guild. Internally, we did have Azeroth Morning Radio as a guild, and this goes way back to when a lot of our earlier shows, we talked a bunch about pulling Aggro IRL, which is a fantastic guild that we were part of for a short time and had a really good time over there with those folks. But deep down inside, we knew that we were going to do a guild. I'll tell you what, the way it started was we wanted to see the Azeroth Morning Radio tag like running around out there. And so we had this, we had a guild for ourselves and a few of our friends. And we went back and forth on whether or not we were actually going to do, open it up. And over the last week, we settled some things up and we put the guild together to where it was in a place to where we could actually get the guild launched. So we did that. We're very excited to announce that Azeroth Morning Radio is now officially in the game as a guild, and we are going to keep it quaint. We're not looking to, run AIE or anything. We're going to have a quaint guild for supporters of the show. So we're going to limit the roster right now. And I think our initial goal was to fill out our neighborhood. We wanted to fill out the Azeroth Morning Radio neighborhood. We're really focusing around a casual social community, but we're certainly open to all types of gameplay styles, everywhere from casual to neckbeard, pretty much. And I think that's what we're going to get. We have folks that play very casually, and then we have folks who they're doing top tier content, and all that's okay. If you end up with us, then whatever your play style is 100% welcome. If you want more information on the guild, you can visit our Patreon page that is found at azerothmorningradio.com.
Yeah. And just to further add to that, so this the guild is for the patrons. It's a patron guild. We chose to keep it a private guild, mainly because it's how do I say this? Like, there is I have learned this over the last year. Like, there is value in something that's private, whether it's a private community or maybe you're doing like private classes and something. Like, there's just a level of personal and just one-on-one conversation and people meeting each other that's much more about the quality than the quantity of people. And that's really continued on with the AMR Guild and made it very special. Like, I hopped in, I was in voice chat hanging out with Rive the other day, just jumped right in, and he was just having conversations with everybody. And, you know, we, alongside this show or alongside the guild, like Cash said, it was a shell guild for a while. It was just a place for our personal friends, which really are just a handful, maybe on one hand, really, that were playing. But the cool thing about Azeroth is that you can find your people wherever that is. You know, it's special to everyone, and we talked about that last week on the show. And this is really growing slowly but surely and very special. And you get that vibe from everyone who talks about it. And so, yeah, super stoked to finally open it. I'll shut up now. We have a whole lot of news we got to take a commercial break. Are you ready?
Yeah, we're 25 minutes in, man, and we're just like, blah, blah, blah.
I know. I'm so sorry, folks. Everybody, welcome again. This is Azeroth Morning Radio, and your show today starts right meow.
Have you been recently exposed to a coworker who insisted on powering through their illness, and now you're coughing up green fire? You may be suffering from the fell flu, but relief may be possible with Felzol, trademark, the first goblin-engineered treatment designed specifically for workplace plague distribution.
Yeah, that's right. The fell flu. Thanks, Cash. Real professional. Show up sick, cough on the microphone, and now I'm glowing in the dark. So I got myself some Felzol, trademark. The only medication specifically designed for when some inconsiderate clod waddles into work and infects the whole studio. 2 tablets, and boom, less coughing, less wheezing, and only moderate demonic whispers.
Felzol works fast to relieve symptoms like burning lungs, glowing veins, minor corruption of the soul, and persistent irritation toward coworkers who should have stayed home.
Seriously, Cash. Stay home next time, asshole.
Felzol is not approved by the Azerothian Drug Administration and has not been tested on mortals, immortals, or anyone with functioning judgment. Side effects may include green smoke, spontaneous portal opening, temporary horns, chronic sarcasm, uncontrollable goblin laughter, mild soul leakage, increased desire to fire coworkers, explosive sneezing, and the sudden urge to yell,
"This is your fault!"
Do not take Felzol if you're allergic to fel magic, goblin chemistry, or personal responsibility.
Still worth it.
Felzol, because when someone brings the fell flu to work, revenge is the best medicine.
Cash better be paying for my prescription.
All right. Well, everybody, don't forget, you can submit your listener spotlights. Now you're like, wait, I haven't heard that in a few episodes. Well, here's what you do. Record yourself on your phone saying, when I'm not in Azeroth doing whatever it is that thing you're doing, I'm listening to Azeroth Morning Radio. And send us the raw clip. You don't have to spice it up, do any of that stuff. Don't worry about it. Send us the raw clip. We'll put you right here in the show. It's time for Hero's Call.
Hero's Call.
Well, man, if I tried to say a hero's call like that last week, mid demon infestation, I probably would have DRT'd. You know what that is?
Do not resuscitate.
No, that doesn't quite fit those letters, but
Oh, okay.
no, that's paramedic speak for died right there.
Oh, that's
Yeah, man,
awesome.
we threw the whole box at him, but he DRT'd.
Oh,
He died right there.
that's hilarious.
I'm not making fun of it. It's just 30 years of a very difficult and stressful job.
That's
Dark
right.
humor.
That's right. You'd come out sound like a Nathrazine, probably from freaking.
Oh, man. Roll. Heroes call. Anyway, we got a good heroes call this week, you guys. And I actually had a short conversation with this gentleman over Facebook Messenger today. And I'm excited to talk about this one because this one's been popping up on my feed all the time. And I'm constantly looking things for Heroes Call, which is the amazing things that people are doing out there, the players of World of Warcraft, the things that they're creating for you. Anyway, Jumbo Facts on Facebook. If you're on Facebook or Instagram and you have a hashtag World of Warcraft anywhere, you have probably seen these videos. These are the ones, they're reels that start with, here's one World of Warcraft fact you didn't know. And it goes into some kind of secret that you can unlock or a way to get a mount. And it's done very quickly, but like all the directions are in there in these short reels. And I went down the rabbit hole today on Jumbo Facts' page. And there's so much really good stuff in there.
Oh, yeah.
And I can honestly say that I don't know about most of them.
Yeah.
After having played this game for so long. So this ties right into all the stuff that we talk about with World of Warcraft secret finding. And I wanted to highlight Jumbo's page. There's a few things that I'm going to go through here. So you can either watch his videos. He did videos on all three of these. You can either watch his videos or you can take the directions that we're giving you right now, because these are three things that you can actually go out in the game and get if you haven't already done so. So the first one, this is the Amani Spear Hunter Spit item, which I actually found last night. I was like, you have got to be kidding me. Where did I get that? And he's got a video up on it. So it was pretty cool.
That's
anyway,
awesome.
Have you gotten this one, bud?
No.
Oh, this one's bitching. So it's a spear on a spit. If like, you know what a spit is, it's like what you would rotisserie an animal on. And you're cooking.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, and there's a skewered hog like ready to be cooked on this thing. So I had no idea how I got it, but I ended up getting it by placing all 5 telescopes on the peaks in the Zulaman zone. And then you get the achievement called the highest peaks, and you get the Amani Spear Hunter Spit item for your house.
That's awesome.
Yep.
I love that so much.
So that's the first one.
Oh, that's so cool.
That's the first one. Second one, don't even know how this one was found. Like this is like more on the rare side, but we all know how tidy the Blood Elves are. If you've walked through town, there's brooms everywhere. You're always doing something to clean something up, because the Blood Elves are very particular about keeping their city clean, which is fantastic. There's a Silver Moon broom pet that you can get in Southwest Silver Moon City. So if you're to look on the map, like if you're listening to the show and you're playing, pull up your map if you're there in Silver Moon City. There's a pathway around a small structure. If you look at the Falcon Wing square text on your map, it's just to the right of that. There's like a little pathway around a little building. So this is rare, but periodically you can find a Silver Moon broom like magically sweeping around that walkway. And all you got to do is just walk up to it and click on it. It's a pet. And then you get the Silver Moon broom pet.
Oh, that is so freaking cool.
Yeah, it's really neat.
Gosh,
it's like a very well rendered broom, and you can get a pet. So there you go.
That's so cool.
Here's one that's been floating around. This one has been floating around quite a bit out there, and if you've heard about it, then I'm going to tell you how to get it. There's an abstract painting out there that is selling for gold cap if you get it from the vendor. And I think there was a video, actually a few videos on YouTube. There's a guy that actually did it. It was probably just a massive flex, but he's like, this is gold cap. I have gold cap. I'm going to do it. So he spent the 9,999,999 gold to get this painting. Well, he might have gotten sold a bill of goods because there's an easier way to do it.
Oh,
much easier way to do it. So here's how you do it. This painting is called the Shuhalo Perspective Painting. Where you're going to find this is inside the Murder Row dungeon, right before the first boss. There's a vendor there named Kravitz Laurent, and his title is Shady Art Dealer. So he sells this Shuhalo Perspective painting for, yes, the gold cap. Do not buy it for that cost, because you can get it much easier. Head back to the start of the dungeon and find Soothsayer Sargle. Once per day, Soothsayer Sargle will give you a fortune. He can give you up to 13 fortunes, and if you collect all of those fortunes, or buy them on the auction house, because they're up there, you can head back to Kravitz in the dungeon, and the price of the painting will be reduced to 999 gold. And then you can get your painting. The key here is you have to have all 13 of those fortunes in your inventory, and then it'll show up at that reduced price. So there you go.
I love this game. I have, so I picked up one, and I must not have, so I got one fortune, right? And it basically told me, like, you are going to fail or something. It was funny, right? And I went back to it again, and I didn't get another one. And I must not have been there. I must have went back before the 24-hour period. Well, in my bank, one thing I always do is my first tab is reagents. Second tab is collectibles of armor, certain things like anytime I level a tune, and I always do BFA, and you'll get a ring during the quest line at some point called Ring of the Sea or Heart of the Sea. So I keep stuff like that. Like I'll keep random armor items, and then I have a third tab that's just books, scrolls, and whatever else. And I put that fortune in there because I'm like, it's cool regardless. I assumed I couldn't get another one. Well, now I'm gonna go back because that's awesome, man. That's so cool. I love that Decor's wrapped up in all this too. Yeah, for sure. There's so many secrets out there, and the whole reason I wanted to do this was just to say thank you to Jumbo for putting the time and the work into bringing these secrets out for us. And a lot of people like to find this stuff organically and on your own, and that's fine. But every single time I see one of those reels, like if I have one that I really want, I will put it in my phone, and I'll just like pause the video and like, oh, here's the coordinates and this is what you have to do. And then I'll go get it. So I've used Jumbo Facts many times. And again, like the whole reason for the feature here is just to say thank you for putting that work in, because I know there's so many people out there that are actually using us or using this, and it shows the collaboration between players unlocking these WoW secrets. So again, a majority of these finds, I had no idea that they were there. So it's a really good way to find some of those unseen, unfound things that are in the game. So Jumbo, keep up your hard work. And we hope that, showcasing this a bit for you can bring you some more visitors to your channel and more subs, and you certainly deserve it. So if you want to find Jumbo, Jumbo Facts is on Facebook, and on Instagram, it's Jumbo Warcraft Facts. Go take a look.
Breaking news. Brought to all of yous by the Goblin News Network.
Bum, bum, bum. All right, everybody. So our idea of Azeroth could have looked very different because Jeff Kaplan said, quote, he really wanted WoW to be first person in its early days. He says, quote, I argued for that a lot. This coming to us from PC Gamer. And I can tell you, we could sit here and read everything he's saying, but let's just hear it from the man himself. He did a 10-hour stream the other day of his new game. I believe it's I Love California or something California. But anyway. Yeah,
something like that.
Yeah. And so meanwhile, you're gonna hear some, like, it could be gunshots or mining, and so this is part of that stream. So you're gonna hear some fun sounds. But anyway, let's take a listen and see what Jeff had to say.
I really wanted WoW to be first person. I argued a lot for that. And I think WoW is great being third person, and like there's a lot of arguments about seeing your character more and whatever. But I had come from EverQuest, and in EverQuest, like they barely. They had this like weird third-person camera that didn't really fully work that great. You didn't play with it on, but EQ is all first-person, and weirdly, like because it was first-person, I saw my guildmates up close way more. And I felt like I saw and appreciated the character art way more. I wasn't seeing myself, but I knew other people were seeing me that close. So in EQ, I actually cared what my character looked like more than I did in WoW.
Oh, I missed.
That last one was a kill shot. I don't know if you picked up on that, but someone died. Holy cow, I'm bobbing and weaving.
I'm so glad that you prefaced that with the fact that there's going to be some game sounds in the background. His game that he's working on is called The Legend of California. It almost looks like a frontiersman type game.
Yeah.
Where it's survival.
Yeah.
And they were shooting look like they were shooting bolt action rifles and stuff, so it looks like a period type of a game.
So I was getting ready.
Anyway,
have an OK Corral fight go on or something, man.
I'm your Huckleberry.
Say when. Oh, so this brings some pretty interesting discussion, man. How would you feel about a first-person World of Warcraft? Do you think it would have seen the same success that it saw?
I don't believe it would. I really don't. And to be honest with you, when I saw you put this article up and I was like, okay, I need to read through this article, and I ended up watching the video, I was a bit like, oh my God, hell no. First person, because I'm not a first person guy very much. I definitely am not. So when I saw that, I was like, no thanks. But the way that he explained it made a lot of sense. You know what I mean? Like he would get to see his guildmates way more up close. And to me, that did resonate to, like, you know, to where some of the textures and stuff, when you're up that close, they'll mean more, and you get more of that personal feeling. Totally understand that. Sticking by my guns and saying no, thank you. But I do not think that World of Warcraft would have seen as much success with this. And the reason being is because you put so much time into getting gear, making your character look the way that you want it to look. I want to see it. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't see for myself, like even in I can't even say first person shooter, even in a shooter game, I prefer that Ghost Recon over the shoulder style of a shooter. Yeah. You know, I just prefer that. I want to see what my operator looks like. I'm taking all this time to trick him out. I want to see that. I just don't want to see like the gold plated, you know, AK-47 that I got in Call of Duty. So I don't think World of Warcraft would have seen the amount of success if it had been a first person only game. I agree. Like in truth, because I go back to a comment I made on an episode, I forget when it was, but you know, like with World of Warcraft, like I don't know that they were trying to necessarily reinvent the wheel when they made that game. You know, when they made this game, they made it, but I do feel like making it accessible and streamlining a lot of the processes in other MMOs was definitely a part of it. And that, I think, was really part of the success. I'll be the first to tell you, like when Holly makes a comment like that, I forget her verbiage, but something about the IP growing, you know, like they're wanting the IP to be so much more than what it is already. I'll be the first to tell you, I would love to play a first person open world role-playing game set within the World of Warcraft that solely focuses on maybe some of the books like War of the Ancients, or maybe you're a part of the whole, like, you are in the story of Arthas, you know, but you are not obviously Arthas or anyone major. You're watching a lot of these things happen. Like, you know, it's just like stuff like that. Like, absolutely, man. I would eat that up all day long, but I don't think I could do a first person MMO. I could, but I don't think it would have seen as much success. Now, I will say this, if they did do that thing, they definitely would have been way before their time, because look at Destiny, right? First person FPS MMO, you know,
And that, for better or for worse, that whole IP, you know, it's doing great. You know, like the IP overall, like it saw major success. It was Destiny 1, branched out in Destiny 2. Kind of got a little questionable there for some folks, but you know, like overall, like it was successful. And regardless, even though it's not around anymore, remember we talked about Firefall?
That just came to my mind.
Dude,
was Firefall.
It was a blast.
It was super fun.
Yeah, man, it was a blast. So yeah, I definitely think there's room for that, a first-person MMO. But I don't think that. No, I don't think it would have had the same success.
Yeah, I could see like a looter shooter MMO.
Mm-hmm.
You know, where the first person is the perspective of you with a firearm.
Yeah.
I could see that.
Yeah.
But even still, the ones that were out there that were the over-the-shoulder third-person view, like Firefall and like there was another one. I'll have to remember what it was. It was based off of a TV show, and maybe you remember. But anyway, I digress.
Crash Bandicoot.
Say it again.
Crash Bandicoot.
Yeah, that was it.
He doesn't know what that is.
I know what Crash Bandicoot is. I'm a gamer.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm just checking. That was my jam back in the day. PlayStation, baby.
You're using the age thing again to make me feel like a subpar human being.
It's okay. I'm right there. We're both bald. We both have gray hair. I don't know what else you want. We're only a few years apart. We're both old. It is what it is.
It's more than a few years.
Yours different.
But
decade.
anyway, there are some looter shooters out there that I could see, you know, the first person thing working for. Now, here's one to throw at you. What if it were more in the style of like the Elder Scrolls franchise?
Yeah.
Where you can choose that third person style and it goes all the way into first person style. And New World did this.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, they definitely did. I'll be the first to tell you. Sometimes I do play first person in Warcraft. But because it's meant for third person, I enjoyed that more and I played that. But I absolutely, like, not even 2 weeks ago, I'm running around Silvermoon for quite amount of time in first person, just playing the game. What would it look like if I was playing first person? Try to kill a few enemies, you know? I went back to third person pretty quick, but you know.
Yeah, but because when you go all the way into first person in Warcraft, you don't see your weapons,
right?
You know, you'll see your spells and such firing off, especially if you're ranged. But I just think that would be super weird. But at the same time, I think a lot of people would maybe really like it. Now, I think the one that has done it very, very well was the Skyrim series, right? Or the Elder Scrolls games, where if you're rocking a bow, you're watching that thing, you can see it out in front of you as you draw back. And then, you know, with your staff, where you're just like, you're doing the poke,
right? You're
doing the old poke with your staff, and there's fire coming out of it. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think I'm happy that they went the way that they went.
Yeah.
Where it's like a mix between top down and third person. So
you want me to make an add-on for you where you have two idle hands that just stick out from the screen and just playing first person?
Now, what is that saying? Idle hands or Devil's Playground?
Devil's Playground?
Yeah. Yeah, I got it right. Check me out.
Oh, look at you go. Look at you go. All right, folks, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back.
Greetings, adventurers. If you're diving into World of Warcraft Midnight, here are 5 simple ways to make the experience even more rich. Tip number 1. Download the soundtrack. The Midnight original soundtrack released on March 5th and features music from a long list of talented composers, including Leo Kaliski, Jake Lefkowitz, Adam Burgess, Joshua Ra Goodman, Neil Acree, David Arkenstone, Glenn Stafford, Derek Duke, Russell Brower, and Jason Hayes. It's quickly become one of my favorite Warcraft soundtracks. The atmosphere is incredible. A couple of standout tracks for me are Wild Gods from Zulaman and Alnahara from Haranar. Put the soundtrack on while you're questing, flying around, or even working throughout the day. It truly helps extend the feeling of the expansion beyond just the moments you're logged in. Tip number 2. Read or listen to the World of Warcraft Blood Ties by Christy Golden. This 2025 novel serves as a prequel to the Midnight expansion. The story focuses on Ilaria, Turalyon, and Eretor, and it explores the tension within their family dynamic, something that you'll see reflected in the expansion itself. The plot follows the trio investigating a new demonic threat in Suramar, tying the story threads back to Legion. The combat scenes are dynamic, the pacing moves well, and the story reintroduces several characters you'll encounter again in Midnight. What really stands out is the tone. It's tense, emotional, and driven by a personal family conflict. If you prefer audiobooks, it currently sits at about a 4.4 out of 5 on Audible, and I highly recommend it. That's how I did it. Tip number 3. Don't discount the Blizzard story videos on YouTube. Blizzard has released a number of cinematics, animated shorts, and narrated story pieces leading up to Midnight. These videos do a fantastic job of expanding the story and filling in background details you might miss while you're leveling. They provide context for characters, zones, and the larger conflict unfolding in the expansion. Some of the best examples include Zul'Jara, the Legacy of the Amani, The Quiet at the End of Us, Umbric, The Void Between, the Liadrin animated short, and the Eretor animated short, just to name a few. There are several more worth checking out. Some of them are relatively short, and some of them are long, but they're all beautifully produced, and they add a lot of emotional weight to the world you're playing in. Tip number 4. Try forcing yourself to use a ground mount. This has become a bit of a trend among players lately. Some of it is nostalgia, returning to how we experienced Azeroth in the early days, but it's also a way to slow down and actually see the world. When you're flying at 700% mount speed, you skip past a lot of the details that Blizzard put into these zones. On a ground mount, you just notice more. Small camps, environmental storytelling, hidden pathways, the little touches that explain why things exist in that location. It reminds me of the older Elder Scrolls games, where you just pick a direction and eventually stumble into something interesting. Sometimes the best content in World of Warcraft is the stuff you weren't even looking for. And finally, tip number 5. Give yourself some solo time. Hop out of voice chat for a bit. Turn the music up. Turn up the ambient sound. Then, just explore. Walk through the settlements, peek behind waterfalls, wander into caves, watch the NPCs going about their routines. Blizzard puts an incredible amount of detail into these environments, and you experience it differently when you're fully immersed. For me, one of my favorite quiet spots right now is Harnar, farming glowing moths. It's oddly peaceful, and you'd be surprised what you discover when you slow down and really let yourself sink into the world.
All right. Take a look ahead at the 12.0.5 content update. This coming to us directly from worldofwarcraft.com. You know, last episode, I caught myself numerous times, and it's because I say it so fast while I do this. I'm pretty sure at least 3 times in my endeavor to do a solo episode of AMR, I said World of Warcraft. Pretty sure it came out at least. Yeah.
What? I'm hunting
wabbits. So I'm pretty sure, yeah. So just got to slow down a little bit. So anyway, 12.0.5, folks, we can look forward to a few things. We're going to kind of talk about this real quick. Void Strikes. So this is a weekly rotation event from Eversong Woods or Zol Aman. Next up, you have Void Incursions. Larger scenarios when enough Void Strikes have been completed require more players to complete. Let's stop there. How cool is that?
It's good. I like it. These all build on each other. And as I was, kind of going through these notes and then going through Blizzard's article, they all make sense and they fit very, very well in the world. So I'm excited.
I love the fact that incursions only happen after strikes. There have to be so many of that. Like, I love MMO design when it's reactive. And a lot of the newer MMOs that have come out since World of Warcraft, particularly MMOs within the last probably 5 to 7 years, like you see a lot of the reactive gameplay. You see that even in Guild Wars 2. You see it. You saw it in what was the one we played? Was it Ashes? No, it was something else. Anyway, but whenever the world reacts to what players are doing, something happens because the players have done something. That's top tier gameplay, because it makes you feel like you are really immersed in this world, and you feel as though you are not alone. You weren't a part of what happened, but now the world that you're in has been affected because something other players did. It makes it feel huge. It makes the world come alive. And man, that's probably a topic in its own, like that, that whole style. But yeah.
Well, we're definitely going to be talking about how this world has come alive in our Snark segment today. We're going to be talking about that.
All right, good deal.
But the thing that I love about this, to piggyback off of what you're saying, is number one, Midnight already feels like there is a serious issue going on in the zones that you're in.
Yeah.
And I know all of the other expansions have had this too, but I truly am feeling it. Like there is an incursion that has taken place here.
Yeah.
And we need to do things as players to cull said incursion. And yeah, void incursions, pun intended there. But with what void strikes, void incursions, and what we're going to talk about here, ritual sites, this whole thing brings player collaboration together. It brings it home that what the players are doing is affecting the world, and A cannot happen, or, B or C cannot happen without A.
Yeah. Yeah.
These goals need to be reached before things will escalate. So yeah, I agree. The third part of this is ritual sites. And these are events which are actually like rituals that are taking place in the world to empower both the Naga and the Twilight's Blade cultists. And these are actually 1 to 5 player instances that you can go through, like scenarios, and you can get increasing rewards depending on the various tiers that you are attempting. And the best part about these, friends, is that they are attached to the Great Vault. So these are going to count as events you're doing in the world that are going to count toward your Great Vault. So if you kind of get out there, and maybe this is your gameplay loop for the evening, you're going out there and you're looking for the void strikes, and those are going to turn into incursions, and you might be going from point A to point B and happen upon a ritual site. And all of these things are going to start help filling out your vault for the week.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so cool. And through all of this, players will earn field accolades for both the Void Assaults and the Ritual Sites as currency that you can use to purchase champion and heroic quality gear and rewards. It's just so cool. And, this expansion just launched. We're already talking about 12.0.5. Like, I'm still taking in initial Midnight, and it's, I think it comes down to being the beauty of the world we're in, how many times have you and I over the past few days, talking about alts or playing this tune or doing that tune that we've said to each other, like, we have 2 years with Midnight. What's the rush? We have 2 years of Midnight, or real, year and a half-ish, almost 2 years. Like, you can do whatever you want, because the world you can go back to, it's vibrant. It's going to keep getting updated. If you're not there at season 1, maybe you're leveling a tune. Who cares? Take your sweet time. Do your thing. It's not going anywhere. That's what's great about this game.
What's been really nice about Midnight too is that a lot of people, their main focus is gearing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would say that is the ultimate goal in World of Warcraft is gearing, to make your character as strong as you possibly can. And that's fine. That's great. But you don't have to do that as quickly as you think you do in Midnight, because the gearing is very streamlined. it is not very hard to get to a point with your character to where you feel effective and powerful, and you can survive on your own. You can survive in groups. And a lot of that has to do with the changes that they made to gearing. So I got to give them props for that. I was thinking about it today, and man, before we recorded the show, I was doing some stuff this morning to get ready for the show and finalizing notes and all that stuff. And I had some time to jump into season 1. And I'm not kidding you. Like I think I got in about 2 hours, I think I got 4 pieces of gear, and they exponentially increased my eye level, like very, very quickly. And I just went, whoa, man, this is, and so they're making it very, very accessible for you, I think, to where it's not such a gear grind. Now, if you're a top 1%er, totally get it. You're going to be doing things to top 1% your gear, which is fine. That's your gameplay, man. You have fun doing it. It's your sub. Have fun doing it.
That's right.
But if you're like most of us that aren't doing that and really want to take in the world, you have time to do that. Just like Jibs is saying, we have a couple of years of this expansion. Take your time, soak it in. And I'm not going to get too much into it because Snark's on his way. We are going to talk about this stuff, but man, I just think that there really is a good opportunity for you to slow down with Midnight.
Absolutely. And including, so going off of that, there's some more additions that are coming with 12.0.5. One of those we had mentioned on a previous episode. Of course, we talked about all this, except one thing we're going to talk about here in a second. Decor Duels. So team versus team hide and seek style game in Silver Moon City. It's a group finder event. You hide as a housing decor items yourself or seek out your hiding opponents. Gain rewards like mounts, toys, housing decor. Dude, I love this so much. I just love the fact that the rewards that you get, like it's not about gear. It's about mounts, toys, housing decor. It's just good, man. It's just a win.
Yeah. Decor Duels, I think it's probably going to be like some of the other like odd events that they've had in the past. Mm-hmm. What was the pirate one? I can't remember the name. Plunderstorm. Plunderstorm was like I want to try that. I don't know how I feel about it yet. And then we tried it, and then we were addicted for like 2 weeks. That's all we did.
Dude, we log in. You ready to queue?
Yep. Oh. Dude, finish your dinner. We are queuing for Plunderstorm, and we 100% in Plunderstorm. And we got everything out of that we could. And sometimes you're the hammer, sometimes you're the nail.
Yep.
But it was a super fun gameplay mode. So this one is kind of sitting where that one is for me. This one's a little whimsy. Coming from a guy who's on a 100% whimsy podcast about, goblins and whimsy stuff.
Yep.
Decor Duels seems very, very whimsy to me. Am I going to try it? Yes. Am I going to love it? Most likely. I'm probably going to love this thing. It seems strange, but then you think about it and you're like, okay, so if this works the way I think it is, one team is the hiders and the other team is the seekers. And if you're the hider, you get to pick what you hide as. And if they find you, they get points. If they don't, they don't. And then you switch. That's kind of how I'm seeing how this thing is going to work.
Basically, yeah. And for any of you who played Call of Duty, I believe it was Black Ops, that whole series, that they have this in there. And I think it's called Prop Hunt in that. But anyway, it's a ton of fun. It's surprising. I'll tell you this. Be prepared to be surprisingly addicted. Because you will be. And I'm looking forward to doing this in this game. It's going to be great. And then finally we have Abyss Anglers. So this one's a big one. Underwater content, folks. Get your swimming transmogs ready. Team up to spear as many exotic fish as possible. Unlock fishing rewards and upgrades to diver gear, allowing you to venture deeper into the Zolomon coastal waters for greater treasures like like dive equipment and other cosmetics. Heck yeah. Underwater content, baby. So excited about that.
Yeah, this one's going to be fun. I'm actually very excited about this one. I love underwater content. We've talked about underwater content before. And I think this one's going to be, it's going to be a good mix between exploration, spearfishing, and gathering transmog.
Yeah, man.
So, very excited.
What a time to be a WoW fan. So good.
Yeah, agreed.
All right, you ready for Snark, baby?
Let's do it.
Snark Online.
I love the name of this segment that Snark pooped out. It is Touch Grass, you lazy bastards.
Oh, wow. Woo, all right. Woo, okay.
Hey, man, the goblins do this stuff. We just read it.
Oh, okay.
So I think there's a little different meaning, though. You know how touch grass normally means like get your butt outside, log out of the game, and go connect with reality?
Yeah. Worse graphics.
Yeah, not this week. It's touch grass is something that's a little different this week.
Okay.
This actually means stay in the game.
Ooh.
But slow your mount down and actually look around for once. Because I know you've seen it, and I know there's other content creators out there that are talking about this stuff as I peruse the interwebs. Something strange is happening in the World of Warcraft midnight. Certainly happening to me. We alluded to it a little bit before. Players are slowing down, and in particular, players are choosing to ditch their flying mounts and only use ground mounts.
I love it.
I love it so bad. Now, granted, that would be a little difficult to do in some of the areas because, like the War Within, Midnight has some verticality to it. So there's a lot of, especially in Harndar, very vertical. The Void area is kind of the same way, but definitely not as much as Harndar is. So anyway, yeah, on purpose. They're doing this on purpose. No flying, no zooming from quest marker to quest marker, just riding through the zones and taking it in like a freaking tourist. And I love this. And this has become my evening because I'm on the West Coast. Most of my gaming friends are all on either Midwest or East Coast. So they go to bed earlier than I do. Typically, I try to go to bed a little earlier so I can get my 8 hours, but sometimes that doesn't work out. And sometimes I just ambience up, music up, and I just go. I'm not in Discord. I just have fun running around. I did this in Harndar the other night. Of course, getting glowing moths. And it's something that we definitely talk about on one of our commercial segments on this show, as I give you some tips for how to make Midnight yours. And this is one of the things that I've been doing. And it's actually a lot of fun. Jibs, I know you like to do this because there's times when I can't get a hold of you and I know you're logged into the game and you're just doing your thing.
I am doing my thing. Yeah. I love this so much. I love it because it brings back classic, but more so it brings back, it's players taking steps to bring back the RPG of the MMORPG. I'll be the first to tell you there's going to be, and please don't cut me off at the knees in comments. I miss having to train for your abilities. I miss thinking to myself, oh, I hit a level. I'm so excited. I can't wait to see what ability I get. I'll have to plan out my route to get back to train. It's little things like that, the little things that I miss. And that all of those things brought together the RPG aspect of World of Warcraft. And this is one of those things where you are not flying. You are, like I've heard it said before, that, the cat's out of the bag with flying now. Like it's out there. Like it's never coming back, to where it was not flying anymore, And, but people taking this initiative to play like this, oh, dude, I love it so much. It slows down the game. And it's so good for you as a player. You may not even realize it. How good it is. Like, let's say you're leveling. The immersion that you get from leveling because you've slowed the game down. It's going to allow you to, number one, get way more deeply rooted in the game itself, in the world you're in, your character, your class, everything. And so when you can slow down the game, and you know, they're already kind of taking steps with that with combat. Combat slowed down. Combat feels different. I made a mention earlier that I hopped in a couple arenas on my hunter, and I did. Just hopped right, queued up with a bunch of different groups. I had a few minutes. So I'm like, sure, let's go for it. Let's see what happens, right? And combat, even in the most highest levels of PvP, it feels slowed down. So like they're doing that with combat. And I love that players are doing this with the mount system. Like, this is just one small way to slow down the game and bring back that RPG in the MMORPG. I love it. I love it. I'm a huge fan.
Yeah, and we are, at this point, we are so acclimatized, is it?
Yeah, acclimated.
Acclimated. We're acclimated to fast travel and being able to get from one peak to the next with a flying mount in seconds, that you will have to actively force yourself to do this. Like, you have to take all your flying mounts off of your bars and just put a ground mount on. But I challenge you to do it. You miss so much environmental detail when you're flying around. You miss the landscape of the world when you're flying around. You miss random encounters when you're flying from point A to point B. When you're on a ground mount, or better yet, just hoofing it, you're hot footing it from A to B, there is so much organic immersion that takes place in the game. And when I start to think about the things that I've missed, and when I was talking about my later at night gameplay, when I'm just playing by myself with the ambience and the music up, I am doing this. I will get into a zone and I'll pick right or left. And I'll start, if I say I go right, I'll go right, and I'll just try to go like right along the edge of the border of the zone. And I will try to look in every cave. I'll look inside every hut, house, structure. And when you're playing through the game and you're questing through the game in these certain zones, you become acquainted with the events surrounding the zone. So you look at the decor that's in there. It's like sometimes, you know, there's a city or a settlement that is undergoing some type of an issue or some type of an incursion by some species, and your questing is helping to quell that issue. Well, there's overturned tables, there's bodies, there's things in there that you could literally like sometimes look at bodies and you're like, I wonder what this person was doing. Oh, they were painting. There's an easel on the ground, and it just like, you can put together the story when you take the time to look at what Blizzard has built. So it's just the finer details. And when you're on foot, you see those things. When you slow it down, you see those things. It brings the scale back to the game.
Yes.
And you start to realize how large a game like World of Warcraft really is when you can't get across the map in 30 seconds or 20 seconds. And you see the world design. So we can talk about it until we're blue in the face, because we are huge proponents of this. I know a lot of people out there are not. And if you're not, all I'm trying to do, what we are trying to do, is to challenge you to take a further look at this game that you've been playing and that you're probably really good at, because it helps you appreciate what the devs have done, especially with Midnight, because it is just such a banger of an expansion so far.
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. I can't agree more.
So before we close this out, I have a couple of questions for you. For you specifically, Jibs.
Uh-oh.
Do you feel like the reason players are doing this, and the reason it's coming to the forefront that a lot of players are starting to do this and they're slowing down at Midnight, do you think players are just getting burnt on trying to be ultra efficient all the time?
I think I don't know. I think it's players wanting more out of the world that they love and taking steps to get more out of the world that they love. Maybe that's thinking too much into it, but that's where my head goes.
Okay. So now I think back to a lot of the other expansions that we've played, and all this stuff was there, right? If you stop to smell the roses, it's still there. But for some reason, it's becoming a thing in Midnight. And it leads me to believe that this was a fundamental goal of Blizzard when they were putting Midnight together, that they wanted to shift our focus towards exploration.
Okay. Could be. It could be. Maybe they're setting some things up for Final Titan. The Last Titan, you know? It definitely could be.
I really feel a shift. I absolutely feel that there is some kind of a shift there, and that they masterfully did it with Midnight. And we played a ton of these expansions, and all of a sudden I'm just getting that feeling that they did something to shift my focus to like, slow down, dude.
Well, I will say this. I guess I haven't read the blue post. Apparently there was a blue post that was a seriously lengthy blue post about their thoughts on flying and like the future of what that looks like. Like, you didn't have to go into all of that. They didn't have to do that, you know, but they chose to. And I'm wondering if, like you're talking about, maybe there is some kind of shift that may be happening, or even just a little inkling of that thing, you know? Like right now, we know that they're building out the Last Titan right now. They are working in Northrend right now. That is going to get an overhaul, you know? And maybe that's part of that. I don't know. But you know, I will say this, man, are they at a crossroads with Last Titan? Like, and I say that because it's going to be a great indicator of what's to come. Is it slowing down and exploring more? Like, is that a part of the equation moving forward? Is it, you know, bringing back some more RPG aspects of things? The sky's the limit, you know. World of Warcraft has something in it for everybody. We've said that numerous times. It's, you know, are they going to be making changes to accommodate maybe some of the slower pacing, wanting to slow things down even more while maintaining that gear grind and, you know, the push and all that blah, blah, blah? I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, I'm really intrigued, and I can't wait to be at BlizzCon with you watching this renouncement of Last Titan. Ooh.
Yeah, me too. Because for all intents and purposes, everything is pointing towards an amazing additional sequel or finisher to the World Soul Saga.
Yeah.
Like it really is.
Yeah.
I've never been more interested in the lore of the World Soul of Azeroth than I am right now.
Yeah.
Like it's pretty cool. And I think that's why I've slowed down. And again, just to close this out, we challenge you to slow down a little bit. If you don't want to get off your flying mount, that's totally fine. But a good way to do it is to either go on your feet or use a ground mount and just slow down and look at the amazing things that they've created in this expansion. You're welcome.
I love it. Folks, we'll be right back. We're going to do a lore lesson. We'll close out the show.
The early victories over the Akir and the rebellious elementals gave the Keepers hope, but they knew the war for Azeroth was far from finished. The true heart of the Black Empire still remained, and at its center waited the most powerful of the old gods.
You cannot succeed. Your cause is hopeless.
The Titan-forged armies gathered their strength and marched toward the sprawling temple city built around Yasharj. If the strongest bastion of the SNARKy could be destroyed, the Keepers believed the entire Black Empire might collapse in a single decisive blow. But reaching the old god would not come easily. Wave after wave, the SNARKy defenders poured from the city's twisted halls. The Titan-forged fought forward step by step, carving through endless swarms as they pushed deeper toward the mountainous mass of the old god itself. By the time they breached the city's inner sanctum, The battlefield had become a graveyard. The shattered bodies of the Titan-forged and Incursions alike littered the ground. And there, towering above the carnage, was Yasharj.
You have already lost.
The old god proved far more dangerous than expected. Its presence seeped into the minds of the Titan-forged, stirring fear and doubt. Warriors who had never known hesitation suddenly found their thoughts clouded with terror. From across the cosmos, the Pantheon watched with growing concern. If their servants fell, Azeroth would be lost. At last, they made a desperate choice. Though they had hoped to avoid it, the risk could no longer be ignored. Aman'Thul himself reached down through Azeroth's storm-filled skies. His colossal hand seized the writhing body of Yasharj, and with a titanic pull, he tore the god from the world. The result was catastrophic. Yasharj's body exploded as it was ripped free. The shockwave shattered mountaintops and obliterated hundreds of Titan-forged in an instant. The old god was dead, but the victory came at a terrible cost. The old god's tendrils had burrowed deeper into Azeroth than anyone had realized. When Yasharj was removed, the planet itself was torn open. From the wound burst torrents of volatile arcane energy, the very lifeblood of the sleeping Titan within the world. The Pantheon understood immediately what had happened. If the other old gods were removed the same way, Azeroth itself would be destroyed. So the Titans changed their strategy. The remaining old gods would not be killed. They would be imprisoned forever. The Titan-forged devised a new plan. First, they would weaken each old god in battle. Then, Arcadus would carve vast subterranean chambers to contain them. Mimiron would construct colossal machines to bind them in place. And finally, Loken would weave powerful enchantments to suppress their corruption. The Titan-forged armies marched once more. Their first target, the stronghold of N'Zoth. After a brutal conflict, the old god was subdued and entombed beneath the earth. Next came C'Thun, whose sprawling city fell after relentless assaults by the Keepers and their allies. Like N'Zoth, it too was sealed away beneath a prison of stone and arcane power. Only one old god remained, and it would prove the most difficult of them all. In the frozen north, the Titan-forged marched against Yogg-Saron, but the old god unleashed its greatest weapon, monstrous generals known as the Sithraxi. These towering warbringers rallied the remnants of the Black Empire and drove the Titan-forged back with brutal force. By the time the Keepers reached Yogg-Saron's fortress, their armies were nearly spent. Defeat seemed inevitable. Then, Odin rose to meet the moment.
My power is beyond anything you have yet faced!
Though battered by war, he rallied the Titan-forged and ordered one final strategy. He commanded Loken to weave a powerful illusion.
Let the feast begin!
One that twisted the minds of the Sithraxi. Suddenly, the monstrous generals saw enemies everywhere, even among their own ranks. The forces of the Black Empire fell into chaos. As their enemies tore themselves apart, Odin led the counterattack. The Titan-forged surged forward, striking down the confused remnants of the old god's armies. At last, Yogg-Saron was subdued. Like the others before it, the old god was buried deep beneath the earth, locked within a vast enchanted prison. The Black Empire had finally fallen, but the old gods still lived, and their whispers would never truly fade.
All right, everybody, welcome back. You know, we hope this episode made up for the shorter one last week, but man, oh man, this was a fun week for sure. Folks, thank you so much for hanging out with us here today at Azeroth Morning Radio. If you enjoyed your time here with us, please take a moment and leave us a review if you're on a podcast app. Tell us how we're doing. It helps the show. It helps us grow. And also, if you're watching on YouTube, please leave the whole, forgive me, but the whole like, subscribe, all that, comment, share it with a friend. What we care about more than anything, truthfully, share this show with one friend or maybe your Discord server. Really, that's how we grow here at Azeroth Morning Radio. And Cash wasn't kidding. We're 6 months in and people literally on the weekly are still discovering us. And we love that. And we want to keep that going. It really does help us out a lot. And we really do rely on you for that. So thank you so much for all of you who've done that and continue to do so. We love you so, so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And you can always visit our website at AzerothMorningRadio.com. You can learn more about Cash and I. And of course, you can get in contact with us directly if you need to. Cash.
Friends, this show is 100% about the community, so we do want to stay in touch with you. You can reach out to us via email at azerothmorningradio@gmail.com. You can hit us up on Facebook at Azeroth Morning Radio, YouTube at Azeroth Morning Radio for the audio version, kind of audio/video version of this show, and TikTok and Patreon, both at Azeroth Morning Radio.
We love you all so much. Have a wonderful week in gaming. Can't wait to meet so many of you in the guild, continue to meet you all, whether you're in the guild or maybe you're in our community. But also, gosh, I can't wait to see you all face to face at BlizzCon. That's going to be a blast. Have a great week in gaming. We love you, everybody. Stay safe. Stay awesome.
See you soon.
Job's done.